There's a power within you. It lifts your life to its highest level. It brings success, companionship, happiness, health, and peace of mind. As you tap into this power, it will respond to you because this power is within you. And that's why spirituality rocks. Welcome. I'm your host, Janine Burns, and excited to bring you another fantastic episode where we teach new thought, ancient wisdom principles. And Dennis, I'm going to ask you to turn your volume down. And so what we do is our weekly show brings you nationally renowned guests that will inspire you and empower you to awaken to your divine nature and expand your consciousness as we teach you skills for life mastery. I want to take care of a little business. There is a conference coming with the affiliated New Thought Network. You can check them out at www.newthought.org. And the conference this year, we ride the open seas on the Royal Caribbean Liberty of Seas cruise ship, and we're going to explore the depth of our own oceanic bliss in consciousness. You can check it out at newthought.org. The name of the cruise is Cruising in Consciousness. That's from April 16th to the 20th. And March 13th to the 16th is the Women's Gold Rush Conference. That's in Chicago, Illinois. It's women only. I'm going to be one of the speakers. Terry Cole Whitaker is our keynote speaker. It's presented by Reverend Jackie Trish Atkins. Fantastic seminar for women. You can just check that out by going to Women's Gold Rush Conference. And so, I want to tell you about our guest who's going to be with us, our first Skype guest, and that's Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones. He's written amazing books. His most recent books is Your Redefining Moments, Becoming Who You Were Born to Be. He has another book, The Art of Uncertainty, and today we're going to look at The Art of Being, 101 Ways to Practice Purpose in Your Life. Dennis is one of the who's who in New Thought. He writes for the Huffington Post. He's received the Nautilus Award and multiple awards, in fact. And he has written for Science of Mind magazine, and he's a member of the Leadership Council for the Association for Global New Thought. And so all the way from Los Angeles, California, I'd like to welcome via Skype Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones. Welcome to Spirituality Rocks.
How you doing, my friend?
Just a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for supporting Spirituality Rocks by being on the show. We've looked at your books. This book is what I call juicy, The Art of Being, 101 Ways to Practice Purpose in Your Life. And what I like about this book is, I guess you could call them mini essays. There's mini essays. There's 101 of them. And you can read one, really easy read, absorb it, and that at the end of each little essay, there's a practice that you can actually put into effect in your life to effect change. And so what I've done is I've picked out what I felt were some of my favorites, and I'd like to start with number 45. And the title of number 45 is B-cause, like because, be cause of peace, as if you are the cause of peace. And in it we read, the first truth is that God is all there is, and that we live in a spiritual universe that operates on a law of cause and effect, creating our experiences life by means of our use of it. Okay, that's a huge statement. Please tell us about that.
Well, we can only cause or effect because we are one with the law of cause and effect. If God is all there is, we are fully one with that. The universe operates upon a law of cause and effect. The only way it can operate through us is by means of law of cause and effect as well. And how else can it be that our thoughts, embodied and embraced by our feelings, create our reality? That's simply the law of cause and effect in action.
Now say that again. Say that again. Our thoughts. Go ahead. Say that again.
I don't remember what I said. I said.
You were saying how our thoughts create, and sometimes the Skype, because of weather challenges, we missed a word. So you were saying how our thoughts create our experience.
Yeah, we're always becoming cause to our own effect. I mean, that's the only way it can be. And whether we're conscious of it or unconscious of it, we are always becoming cause to our own effect. So if we want to change the reality around us, we have to first obviously change the reality within us at the level of cause. As within, so without, as above, so below. It's a universal teaching that even the great teacher Jesus taught. You could summarize the entire essence of his teachings down to two basic principles. The first one is the kingdom of heaven is within. I and the Father are one. God is one. And the other is, it's done unto me as I believe. It is done unto you as you believe. That's the law of cause and effect. One with God, acting through by means of our thoughts and beliefs, creating our reality.
Perfect. Gosh, you made that so simple. That's great. In this chapter that we're talking about peace, what you said, which I thought was really terrific, you said letting go of what no longer serves us is a huge part of manifesting peace. And likewise, clinging too tightly to anything will become cause for conflict, suffering, and pain. So how do we have authentic peace in our everyday life?
Well, the first thing we get to do is, if we want truly authentic peace, is to embrace what is in the moment without trying to change it.
Ooh.
That's a tough one. It is. But that's, most of our suffering comes because we're attached to wanting something different than it is in the moment, or we don't want something to change that is in the moment that's in the past.
Gosh, that is huge. So what you're saying is that we want to stop resisting what is and be present with what is.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you have to like it. Byron Katie wrote a great book called Loving What Is. That doesn't mean you have to like it. But the minute you stop pushing against it or clinging to it, you free yourself to be able to initiate a line of cause and effect.
So yes, so when you're resisting it, you actually are clinging it. It just brought to mind Emmett Fox talked about how you are, in a particular experience, can be bonded to it stronger than the strongest steel, like a mental chain that we are attached to our thoughts and the circumstances. Yeah, good. So it says, knowing that we are each but macrocosms of the microcosm, that you've talked about all personal experiences. You said that this can be also applied to world peace, and that our world is no different from our personal lives, and that peace on our planet will continue to elude us until we make peace within ourselves.
Yeah. If we're cause or effect, how can there be peace in the world if there's not peace within each human being? And if we're projecting who we believe ourselves to be out of the world, and if we're in conflict with ourselves, it's going to show up by means of conflict with other human beings. So what does it take to become truly at peace with yourself? Because when you are, that peace will then spill over into the human realm, and it will become the effect of a new cause that is coming from the core of your being, at peace with yourself.
Awesome. Another one of the chapters I liked, or actually one of the ways we call it, is number 11. It's called Great Expectations. And what you said, that life tends to respond to our outlook. It shapes itself to meet our experiences, which are birthed in our consciousness, our awareness. And it says, life can only be a divine reflector of your consciousness, drawing to you people, events, and circumstances that reflect what you expect to find, what you get there.
Right.
Now,
we get what we expect from people. If we have, in life itself, if we have high expectations, we will have high results. If we have low expectations, the results will obviously be still a demonstration, but
right.
The effect of it will be not so good.
Right.
I'm trying to think of a way to explain the principle of high involvement and low attachment. We can be highly involved with our expectations, but lowly attached to how they unfold. It's high involvement with our expectations, with a high attachment to how they show up, that we're going to suffer.
Okay.
My thoughts go, here it is. My consciousness goes before me to announce my coming.
Oh, I love that. I love that a lot. My consciousness.
So what that means is that if I expect the best out of others, and that's the belief that I'm coming from. I'm going to draw. That's the experience I'm going to see and manifest in that relationship. But if I go into it expecting conflict, expecting disappointment, expecting pain, I'm going to find a way to create that in that moment with those people.
Well, you know
that all the way.
Exactly. You know, that's interesting because people have said to me many times, "Oh, I don't want to expect the best." I'll say, "Expect the best and trust the process of life." "Oh, I don't want to expect the best because if I expect the best and it doesn't come out the way I want it to, then I'm going to be depressed." So,
well, Janine, there's wisdom to that. One of the keys to not ever being disappointed is to have no expectations.
okay.
But the wisdom is have expectations, but don't be attached to them. That's the hook. It's good to have expectations, but don't be attached to the results.
You know, that seems to me like a nice little loop over to this idea of mindfulness, which this book, every chapter at the end, every little one of the ways, has a practice having to do with mindfulness. And being detached from the outcome and stepping into mindfulness is a good answer. So could you explain to the people what exactly is mindfulness and how do we practice it, please?
Sure. Well, as you said, that at the end of each writing in this book, there are mindfulness practices to help the reader take those ideas in that piece and apply it in their moment, in their life in the moment. Mindfulness, if you notice, our bodies are always present moment. Our bodies can't be any place but present in the moment. Where are our minds a lot of the time? Our minds are either out in front of us or out in back of us. And so mindfulness is the practice of calling your conscious mind back into your body and being present in your body in the present moment with whatever's going on.
Okay. And what glitches us from being in the now moment?
Say that again, please.
What blocks us? What glitches us? What thwarts us from staying in the now moment?
Well, we're addicted to the future and the past. A lot of people I know are dragging along their history with them, their high story. And if your mind is always focused on the past, in resentments, what he did, what she did, what they did, or casting ourselves into the future, which is real easy to do in our culture today with the economy the way it is. I mean, the Dow is bouncing up and down even now as we speak. And a lot of times we cast our thoughts into the future with concerns and worries, and that is what separates us from being present in the moment, which is this is probably the most important aspect of this whole thing. The present moment is your only point of power.
The present moment is the only point of power because in the present moment...
Because it's in this moment that you're creating your reality tomorrow, right now, today.
Right. Well, I read in the book also you talked about the victim mentality, that we tell our stories over so many times and over again, and we're so attached to it that we become our story. Or you call it our high story, which is the word history broken apart, which I thought that was very cool, by the way. And so that's what happens to us, and so we really find ourselves in bondage to our life experience because we're so just engulfed in it, yeah. Well, you know what? It's time for a brief commercial break. Did you want to say something before I switch out?
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, because when I come back, I do want to talk about feeding the dog, which is one of the writings in the book. So don't go far. We're going to have a very brief commercial break, and we'll be back in just a moment with more of Spirituality Rocks.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidiscipline practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I'm your host, Dr. Janine Burns. I'm with the Guiding Light Foundation, where we teach practical spirituality according to the New Thought tradition and ancient wisdom. I'm really delighted. Actually, I'm thrilled. We have Dennis Merritt Jones with us on Skype, and we're working with one of his books. He has many. This one today, we're working with The Art of Being, 101 Ways to Practice Purpose in Your Life. Dennis Merritt Jones is joining us via Skype from Los Angeles, California. Dennis, welcome back.
Thank you.
I want to read from one of your writings, writing number 56. For those of you who will be getting the book, you can go to DennisMerrittJones.com. You can go to Amazon.com and pick up the book. And it goes like this. Once a troubled youth went to his tribal elder and said, I keep having a very bad dream. In my dream, there's always a white dog and a black dog fighting each other. I sense that the white dog is good and the black dog is evil. And I'm troubled because I don't know which one will win. And the elder replied, the white one will win. And the youth replied, how do you know that that is so? And the elder simply smiled and said, because that is the dog that you will feed. Great metaphor, Dennis.
Yeah, well, that's the whole metaphor, obviously, is that we feed, the dog is our mind itself, and the way that our mind goes either towards the positive or the negative. The thoughts that we feed our mind are going to result in who wins the battle in our everyday lives and the life that we experience. So evil, good, right, left, up and down, it doesn't matter. The essential idea is that your predominant thoughts and what the thoughts that you feed your belief system in your mind are the ones that are going to predominantly arise to the surface and dominate your experience.
And I think a lot of people don't realize. I was speaking with someone the other day and they said, I'm a really positive thinker. And as they were talking, I would say, well, that statement isn't positive. And they were saying, yes, but my life is a mess, and on and on. And what I really like is your mindful practice exercise at the end of writing number 53. And you say, become a conscious observer of your mind. Set 2 minutes aside every hour of the day to write down the direction of which your mind is going. And this takes a little discipline because avoiding this exercise is exactly what the ego mind, which is what the black dog is, wants you to do. It will resist. The ego mind would literally rather be, dead than wrong.
Right.
And so,
and
yeah.
The reality is that we can, once we become conscious and present in the moment, again, mindfulness, we can begin to observe our own thoughts. And it's amazing when you think about it. The fact that you can be the witness of your own thoughts is proof that there's something within you that's bigger than the thinker. That's the silent witness, the observer. And when you can be consciously present in that silent witness and observe your thoughts without reacting to them, then you can ask yourself this question: are the thoughts I'm having right now going to produce a life or an experience that I really want? And if the answer is no, and you'll hear the truth if you listen, then you get a chance to stop right there, challenge the thought. And the way you do that is by asking yourself, what is the belief behind this thought that sponsors this thought? What belief do I hold that is causing me to think this thought? And if I'm willing to follow it from the thought to the belief, I can then challenge the belief and introduce a new belief, sponsoring a new thought. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. So then you can shift then and switch your consciousness. You know, one of my favorite techniques, I used to do this all the time when I first began practicing being in charge of my thinking rather than my thinking in charge of me. Johnny Coleman always used to say, I am the thinker who thinks the thought that produces the thing. And so what I would do is I would randomly go into my kitchen, and my oven had a timer. And I wouldn't look, I just turned the timer. And I'd go about my business. And when the buzzer went off, I would stop and say, what am I thinking in this moment? And I was astonished at how many times I wasn't really thinking thoughts that were nourishing and supportive and empowering, thoughts that would bring me towards what I wanted. I thought I was being positive, but when I really examined it, I realized that a lot of the thoughts were kind of fear-based. They were fear-based, yeah.
A good mindfulness practice is when you catch yourself thinking thoughts that are not going to be productive to your highest and best, put a rubber band on your wrist and wear it throughout the day. When you catch yourself thinking thoughts that you are thinking down rather than up, give the rubber band a snap and go back to your business. And at the end of the day, while you may have a welted wrist, you'll be far more mindful of what's going on in your mind.
Exactly. That's a great technique to get you in the now moment, for sure. You know, we just mentioned fear, and another one of the writings, that's writing number 23, and it's called The Force Is With You. And you do this whole metaphor about the Star Wars movie. And what I loved about it is that when I got to the end of your metaphor, it made me think of something I had never thought before. So do you want to please talk about how it was spoken that anytime there was a problem brewing, they would say there's a disturbance in the force. People would say that about 9/11. You know, we're filming from Long Island, New York. So at 9/11, you know, people would say there was a disturbance in the force. I could feel it. Talk to us about this and talk about that metaphor about Master Jedi being on the light side and all.
Well, the force is the force. It's kind of like the law of cause and effect. There's not a good force and a bad force. There's one law. A good example would be the question, and I'm going to ask you this question, you answer me. Is electricity evil or good? It's neither, is it? It's just energy.
It just is. It just is energy. Exactly. That's a great...
You can either use it to plug your computer or a light into, or if you're not thinking quite right, you might stick your fingers in the socket with a bobby pin, and that all of a sudden that electricity could be really harmful to you. So the force, the law, is neither good nor bad. It's how we use it and how we use it, again, goes back to our consciousness, which is really nothing more than the sum total of our beliefs. From the day we were born until this moment in time, every belief that we've embodied to be the truth of ourselves creates our consciousness, and the universe will only pour into our lives, into our consciousness, what it's capable of holding. And if we are approaching life through darkness, through dark glass, through the dark lenses, and we begin to see things as wrong, and we begin to see things as evil or negative,
Right.
we're using the same power to create our reality as if we were seeing through the prism of light and goodness. The law it only knows one word. You know what that is? Yes.
Yes. Yes to whatever you're focused on, whatever you put in your consciousness. Now, in the case of the Jedi, the only power that Darth Vader had was the ability to instill fear in others. And Darth Vader, they found out, was the father of Luke.
His father.
Yeah, in the Star Wars movies. And so he used that fear against them. But that was the only power. And so Luke Skywalker discovered that he faced his own fear and he looked at it and he understood it, that he was able to defeat the appearance of evil that was manifested with Darth Vader. And what I love that you wrote here, oddly enough, it turns out that his very own father was the Lord of the dark side. And then what you wrote that really spun my head a little bit, how often are we the father of our own fear thoughts? Hello.
Yep.
We
Yep.
birth them. We nurture them. We continue to focus upon them. And it's like a snowball running down a hill, which is a good metaphor because it's been snowing on Long Island. The snowball run down the hill, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until
This is why mindfulness is so important, Janine, because mindfulness brings us back to the moment where we can witness what we're thinking and feeling. And if we're able to be in touch with our emotional body, what's going on in our physical body, feeling nature, it'll tell us what's going on in our mind, because our thoughts stimulate our emotions. So if you practice emotional awareness, you could be able to track it back to the thoughts that you're having, and then challenge the thought by challenging the belief underneath it.
There you go. There you go. And you can get a new thought. So, another writing is number 13. I love this one. Plateaus, Peaks, and Valleys is what you've entitled it. And you talk about how you can get stuck in the yuck, which I just love that. You're such a terrific writer here. And you know what? We've all been stuck in the yuck. My question is to you, how, because you said in here that, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is life is but a continuum of plateaus, peaks, and valleys. And the good news is life is a continuum of plateaus, peaks, and valleys. And the point is that regardless of how you choose to see it, life is a journey. Gosh, that's great.
That's the hook right there, is that a lot of people, if you think of peaks and valleys, a lot of people, they hit the valley, those dark times, and they kind of get stuck there. And they pitch a tent, emotionally, and they make stories up of why things are so bad, and they experience that darkness. Whereas if they just continue to remember to put one foot in front of the other and have faith and keep moving forward, there's another peak ahead if you're willing to do the work to get to it. The analogy I use in the book is kind of interesting. A doctor's office where you see an EKG monitor where it's beep, beep,
Yes.
beep, 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 beep. What does that mean?
That's a good thing.
sign,
It means
right?
you're alive. Yes, that's a good thing.
Right. And what does this mean?
Not a good thing. It means you're gone. You're dead.
That's not a good sign. And so the point is that is there any less God in the valleys as there is in the mountaintop, in the peak experience? Is there any less power in one place than the other? No, because of omnipresence, we know that the power that life is, God is, and there's as much of it in our worst day on the planet as there is in our best day on the planet. It's just
Right.
that when we're in that high place, when we're on the peaks in our life, we're more consciously aware of the presence. So the The idea is when you hit those valleys, is to stay conscious.
Right.
Don't go to sleep.
Right. And
Our old friend Tom Costa used to say, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I don't have to stop and build a condo there."
well, you know what I like to say is when people say, "Oh, I'm going through hell," I say, "Good. Don't stop. Don't pitch a tent. Don't take a selfie.
Right.
Just keep moving on." Which leads to my next question is, we find ourselves like, whoa, I am pitched in the tent. People experience grief or despair or, the loss of a job or changing economy and on and on. How do we give the universe a sign that we're ready to move out of the valley?
Well, first off, we've got to remember that we need to honor those places in our lives where there's grief or where there's sadness or fear. We can't pretend that it's not there. We don't pretend that we're not in a valley when we are, because it's dark and it can be scary. That's where we have to invoke the awareness of the presence of God right there in that moment. And we generate the faith that right where we are, all the power in the universe is. And if we allow ourselves to embody it, to align with it, and to become the vessel through which it flows consciously, it'll lift us out of that valley, out of that depression, out of that fear, out of that sadness, and bring us to the next peak.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Alrighty, another really quick commercial. Don't go far away, and we'll be back with more of Spirituality Rocks with Dennis Merritt Jones. Stay tuned.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
And welcome back. I'm Dr. Janine H. Burns, and I teach practical spirituality. I know you are loving this episode of Spirituality Rocks, as I am. Our new website is about to be launched, www.spiritualityrockstv.com. Please tell your friends. Please like us on Facebook. And thank you for those who've been letting us know people that you would like to see on the show. Just shoot us a Facebook message and we'll get in touch with them. Now, this book, The Art of Being, 101 Ways to Practice Purpose in Your Life, is fantastic because they're all these very brief writings. They're not longer than 2-3 pages at most, and after each one, there's a mindfulness practice to help you embody what has been read. I want to briefly look at number 65, and it says, are you seeking a spiritual life, or is it seeking you? And in this writing, we read, most of us, many of those most desperate for a spiritual life, continue to look for it outside of themselves. We look outside of ourselves. And talk about our connectedness to God, Dennis, and how this experience truly has to be an inside job.
People think that, they postpone their spiritual experience because they think it's a point of arrival after they've done so much of this or that. Then they'll have that spiritual experience. What we need to realize is that you couldn't be any more spiritual than you are right now, in this moment. I don't care what's going on in your life. You're 100% spirit. The only thing that you can do is become more aware of that truth. That's what spirituality is. Spirituality is practicing consciously the awareness of the presence of God in the holiness in the present moment. That's what spirituality is. And it's not a point of arrival. It's every breath you take. That's where your spiritual experience is. You don't have to be in a church or a cathedral or a mosque or a temple to have that experience. You can have it right there in your kitchen or your bedroom or pulling the weeds or washing the dishes or changing the baby's diapers.
Gotcha. And, in New Thought, we teach that God is omnipresent, everywhere present, that God expresses through you and as you. We don't think of God as an anthropomorphic being. And what I really love in this particular writing is you said, God is all there is. God is all there is. Everything comes from God. God is all there is. That energy, essence, presence, and power is in and through all of life everywhere. And you said that a simple remembrance of this, that how we see our world and how we interact with it will change dramatically.
Yeah, it will. If we can remember that simple truth, it'll change. It may not change everything that's going on around us, but it absolutely changes what's going on within us. And therefore, we perceive what's going on around us differently. That's where the change begins.
And thus, my all-time favorite quote, and no matter how many books you write, I don't know if you're going to beat this one in my mind, is remember to remember that God is all there is. And when you remember to remember that presence and power is right there with you, that you can change your thinking, you can change your life, and that as you keep your thoughts mindful in the moment of that amazing power, you can draw and attract people, circumstance, and events into your life that will empower you, support you, and nourish you. And one of the tools that we use in New Thought is affirmative prayer. We call it spiritual mind treatment because you're actually treating your mind to a spiritual thought. And so what I'm going to do is invite Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones, and don't forget to check him out, www.dennismerrittjones.com. I'm going to invite Dr. Dennis to do an affirmative prayer right now on any topic that he is divinely guided to say it upon. And so I invite everybody to just get still for a moment and to flow with the words that Dr. Dennis will now present.
Okay, before we begin the treatment, let's just clarify that treatment doesn't make anything happen out there.
Okay.
Treatment only affirms the truth that already exists. We're calling it into form by our nature of our beliefs. So let's just take a deep breath. And in that breath, we draw in the awareness that right where we are in this body temple that we live in, there's 100% spirit. There's no less God at the very center of our being than there is at the far side of the universe. So we simply breathe into this moment, we bring our mind into our body, and we appreciate the gift of that breath itself. That is the most sacred gift other than the gift of life that we could ever be given. So we appreciate that gift. We feel presence in this body. And in this moment, we release that breath and we give ourselves the opportunity to realize that everything we do this day is a divine, sacred continuum of spirit. The thoughts that we have, the feelings we experience, even the food we eat, everything is at some degree the manifestation of presence of God. It's all energy and form and expression. So we remember that anything we bless this day, we are just to bless is to confirm and remember the presence, the awareness of the presence of God in that which we bless. So let's bless our bodies. Let's bless our homes. Let's bless the work that we do. Let's bless our automobiles as we drive. Let's bless the day as we walk down the street. Let's bless our neighbors. Let's bless our family. Let's bless this next breath that we take. Let us allow ourselves to simply exist in the blessing of life in this moment and behold the amazing things that result because of that awareness. We accept this truth. We live in the blessing of life in this moment. We set these words free right now to be, knowing that the universe has already heard these words and they do not return void. We're grateful this is so. We let it be so, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you so much. Dennis, you are a brilliant and gifted teacher. Thank you so much for joining me on Spirituality Rocks. I want to tell the people about your books. What we looked at today is The Art of Being, 101 Ways to Practice Purpose in Your Life. We've looked at it a previous episode. You can look it up on Ustream. You can look it up on YouTube. The Art of Uncertainty, How to Live in the Mystery of Life and Love It. And his most current book is your Redefining Moments, Becoming Who You Were Born to Be. And so thank you so much for supporting us on Spirituality Rocks and supporting me personally in my goals and efforts to bring new thought to the world via spiritualityrockstv.com. I bless you. I appreciate you. I love you.
Well, thank you. You and I go back a long way, and I do support you. You keep up the great work, my friend.
Thank you. You too. Bye, Dennis.
Peace.
So next we have Anthony J. Diaz. He is a divorce empowerment coach. Bet you never heard of one of those. So we're going to take a brief commercial break so that we can get him up on Skype, and we'll be back in just a moment with more of Spirituality Rocks.
All new equipment, all new sets, exciting new shows for 2015, only on MadhouseTV.com. 2015 is coming, and so are exciting new shows on Madhouse TV. We're pouring more into what makes us so fun and different. All new sets, all new equipment, and more to enhance your viewing experience. It's a brand new year. Watch what happens on Madhouse TV.
welcome back to SpiritualityRocksTV.com. If you would like a spiritual prescription, please write us at Post Office Box 472 in Woodbury, New York. And send us a self-addressed stamped envelope. We're happy to fill one out and personalize it for you. And on back of this spiritual prescription pad, which I put together, is how to do affirmative prayer, which Dennis Merritt Jones just presented for us. So check that out. Send us a self-addressed stamped envelope, Post Office Box 472, Woodbury, New York, 11797. My next guest via Skype is Anthony J. Diaz. He's joining us from Skype in Florida. And he specializes in relationship, divorce, and life coaching. And he is a peacemaker who guides people from pain to peace. Welcome to Spirituality Rocks, Anthony J. Diaz.
It's great to be here, Janine. Thanks for having me.
Oh, gosh, it's so wonderful to have you. And you are called a divorce empowerment coach. Hello, what the heck is a divorce empowerment coach?
It's a tongue twister,
Okay.
but basically as a family law attorney and a mediator, I guide people through their current divorce or their past divorce. You know, a lot of people are stuck. They're really not able to move on with their life, and I help them realize that they have all the answers they need within themselves, and I help guide them out of where they are to where they want to be.
Where they are to where they want to be. So, you know, where they are in the throes of divorce and tumultuous experiences to a peaceful experience.
Absolutely. I mean, if they're in the middle of a divorce, many times people get caught up in the drama, they get caught up in the anger, and there's a lot of emotions, and it's very hard to know where you're going because you're so caught up with all the chaos. You really don't have any energy or intention or peace of mind to know where you're going. And that's where working together, I help them understand where they are and help them figure out what their options are and what they want their life to be.
Okay, so then you support people in taking responsibility for their life is what we could say.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the main ways people are successful in moving on from their divorce is to take responsibility. And that's not, a lot of people say, well, it wasn't my fault and it was their fault. It's nobody's fault, but it's understanding what role you played in the marriage. It didn't work out. And let's look at what that looked like, and that will help you to be able to let go of that experience and embrace the life that's before you.
Okay, so then you, as a divorce empowerment coach, then help people move through the divorce experience with dignity.
Absolutely. You know, people are not aware that divorce doesn't have to be a bad word. It doesn't have to be a bad experience. It is a lot of times with people, but if they can understand, and I'm helpful with that it can be an enlightening experience. It can be a magnificent experience to go from something that's not working and to look at your life from a different way, and to look at the life that you have before you. You know, you can make it a dignified experience.
So it doesn't need to be contentious. And what I heard you say, because a lot of times divorce is contentious, is that you can move through the process, you can do it with dignity, but then to create a life that you choose to create. So you then work not only as a peacemaker, but you're a life coach.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to call it.
Okay.
What I like about Peacemaker is my whole life I've been resolving conflicts in one way or another in my life and other people's lives. And, you know, my strengths is to bring peace to people's lives. And one way to do that is to help them to look at their life and to see what they don't like about it and what they don't want their divorce to look like, and we can create this beautiful tapestry of moving on from their divorce, and especially when you have children involved, you can make this an amazing experience for them, and be a model for them on how to resolve conflict without a lot of the nastiness that happens during the divorce process.
And so, what do you do to support, how do you help people do visioning, if you will, to create a different life experience as they go through the process of divorce?
Sure. Well, we take a look at where they are now, and we go through what their life looks like now, and I really encourage people to be as vivid as possible, and most of the time it's really not a positive image. And then, just like starting out with a blank canvas, I asked them, what would you like your life to look like? What does that look like? And to get them to really imagine and use their imagination and use their passion and dream what they want their life to look like. And then we have now a vision of what that is. And then the next step is, okay, how we're going to get from where you are in a situation you're not happy with to where you'd like to go, this beautiful, amazing tapestry. And then we work on how we're going to accomplish that and what needs to happen to get them from where they are to where they want to be.
Okay, and so you then teach the technique of creative visualization?
That's one of the ways, and I don't really teach it. What I do is I guide them through it.
Oh, so you guide them through a process of it. Do you do vision
Yes.
boards or do you guided imagery? What exactly do we do?
Well, a lot of it depends on, are we going through a current divorce, or are we going through something that already happened? If it's something that already happened, we kind of have to go more back in time to see where they are, to have a starting point. If it's currently happening, that's a lot easier. But it's basically through visioning. I do spiritual mind treatment with many people, and of course you and your viewers know that as affirmative prayer, and to treat for the answers they already have and the life that exists within them that they're not aware of yet. And many times if people are open to that, that's very powerful.
Awesome. That sounds exciting. And so
It is.
one of the things that you do as a peacemaker, I read in your material, is that you work on deepening relationships with passion and purpose. What does that mean?
Well, if I'm working with a couple and they're struggling with their relationship and having a lot of conflict and not knowing if they're going to end the marriage or end the relationship, two aspects of love and creation are passion and purpose.
Okay.
So I work with each of them together and individually on what passions do they have for themselves, and what defines a passionate relationship to them. Then I look at with them what purpose do they see in their life, and what's the purpose of their relationship together. And it's very interesting when you see that many times people have a passion for their relationship, and the purpose of the relationship is very similar, but they haven't communicated that together, and each of them don't really understand that they have a common goal. And just getting people to understand where their passion is and what their purpose is in life really sets the foundation to help them to work together to deepen their relationship.
Nice. Very, very nice, in fact. Now, your website, tell the people your website address, please.
Sure. It's Anthony J. Diaz, DIAZ.com.
It's your name, anthonyjdiaz.com. And you're author of an ebook called Creating Relationships and Family with Courage and Compassion. how can we get a hold of that ebook, Creating Relationships and Family with Courage and Compassion?
If they go to my website and they put their name and email address on there, they will get a link to download the ebook directly to their computer or to their phone or their iPad.
At no charge.
Absolutely free.
And what's nice is there's great little stories in it. It's not a super long piece, but there's terrific stories in it. And what I also like is you send guided meditations. Tell us about that. How often do you send them? In the emails, tell us about that, please.
Sure. Well, if they sign up for the ebook, not only do they get the ebook for free, which is amazing stories, but over a 7-day period, they will get 3 meditations that are guided by me. And each of them sets the background and the tone and the intention of having a life of meaning and creating a life of purpose. And each one of them is kind of a guided visualization through a meditation to take them through a process that they can imagine what they would like their life to be. And it's something that they can use every day because it's a downloadable meditation, and they also have that for free.
Terrific. So you go to www.anthonyjdiaz.com to check that out. And so I really think this is very exciting that what you do, your work as a divorce empowerment coach. What spiritual idea or truth would you like to leave our viewing audience with as we close out the show?
What I would like to leave everyone with, and this is a truth that we all have, is that within us lies the power and the answer to every question that we have. It's waiting for us to tap into it. It's already there. And by going through meditations and the meditations I can provide will help them to access that power and the answer that they already have.
Well, you couldn't have said it more clearly than that. Thank you so much, Anthony J. Diaz, the Divorce Empowerment Coach, for joining us on Spirituality Rocks.
Thanks, Janine.
Yeah. And please check it out, www.spiritualityrockstv.com. Our new website will be launched in just a couple of days. And what I'd like you to do is tell your friends about it. Like us on Facebook. And if you have anybody you'd like to see us have on the show, just let us know and we'll be happy to do that. And so go out and make it the best week ever. And we'll see you next week with Spirituality Rocks, where we're having Reverend Jackie Trish Atkins and Terry Cole Whitaker. So until next week, keep on keeping on, remembering to remember that the power is within you. Thank you for joining me on Spirituality Rocks.